Good morning, good people, our viewers back at home. Welcome to Monday Blitz on TV 47, story in yetu. And of course, action is over, the World Cup is over, the pressure is over, finally. Ronaldo's fan can now relax. And today on the show, kindly, we are focusing on the World Cup, no mentioning of Premier League clubs, because I've heard somebody out there saying that which club player has won the World Cup. Huh? So with me right here are my very good people. Fred Arocho, karibu sana Twiga.
Thank you very much.
Uko mzima?
I'm doing good.
How was your week?
Lovely. I was in Kisumu,
Okay.
the better part of the week. Very good campaign we had in Kisumu and came back for the finals.
Okay, that's nice. Hernandez Korea, uko mzima? Looking so good.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I'm not used to you being like this on a Monday morning.
How will you know the World Cup is over?
And of course, Kalunda, welcome on set.
Thank you very much.
You're good?
I'm very well, thank you.
And of course, this guy, I've not seen him for a while. Nyash,
Yeah.
long time.
Yes.
How you been?
I've been doing okay.
How was the US?
The US was fantastic. I don't lie, they treated me well.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
So remember, back at home, you can be part of this discussion by contacting and talking to us on our WhatsApp number 0793267279. And of course, we can interact on our social media platforms on Facebook and also on X. And we have a question of the day. Did you enjoy the FIFA World Cup 2026? There are some moments that were really interesting. Yesterday, after the final, we also what happened. Some players received the red card after the final whistle. How Vozinha really made Cape Verde amazing. Yeah, there were some very good moments of which you can share with us on our social media and, of course, on our WhatsApp number. And before we start the show, I'll start with you. Arocho, did you enjoy the World Cup?
Yes, I enjoyed the World Cup, though unfortunately I didn't travel as scheduled. I was, initially to travel on the 8th to go to the World Cup, and I could have been coming back on the 21st, but unfortunately my trip to Uganda made sure that I could not have gone for the World Cup. But as a viewer, I enjoyed, other than few pockets of disappointments here and there. I was so disappointed yesterday. The fracas after the match, for me, was not good for the game. But generally, it was a good tournament in terms of fans turning out. I think we had some World Cup about 12 or so years that did not have that kind of fan base, because soccer is about the fans, and they turned out in large numbers. So for me, it was a success.
Hernandez, did you enjoy the World Cup?
I did. As someone who chose Spain from the World Cup, I really did. World Cup doesn't get any better. I think it was a World Cup of surprises and a World Cup of goalkeepers. We've seen stars that we wouldn't have thought, wow, they would have shown in this World Cup. Also, the turn-up was amazing. I remember people were saying it wouldn't be the best. Was it the best though? If it wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. I loved the turn up. It actually it actually said against went against our saying. We thought the stadiums would be empty. You were there. They were not empty. Even the watch parties, they were not empty. So I think I really enjoyed the World Cup.
Kalunda, did you enjoy it?
I did. Considering I'm Congolese, my country featured in the World Cup, so I honestly was more than happy. I was over the moon. Honestly, if I could travel to Congo in the span of this World Cup, I would. But I had the time of my life as a spectator from home, because watching your country, since you were born, you've never seen your country play in the World Cup, but I did. I got the chance to. Other than that, every other team, my other team was England, so yeah, I really enjoyed the World Cup.
All right.
Yeah.
Nyash, I know you've got a lot to say because you were there, you witnessed everything. So did you enjoy it, by the way?
I mean, yeah, I did. I think it was a fantastic World Cup all around, not lacking controversy. I think holistically it was a good World Cup. From the action on the pitch, off it. I know most of the off the pitch was an ugly one, or people did not like it. But it was there, it was happening. And also I feel like this one tested just how much people love football. I mean, having to wake up at 6 a.m. or 3 a.m. and sleep at 7 a.m. in the morning for a couple of days, it was fantastic. And if you love football, man, nowadays you're getting 4 matches in one day. Like, that's what you want to see at the highest of levels. So I think it was a fantastic World Cup.
All right. Now you can also, to our viewers, you can also share what you think. If you enjoyed, you can share the moment that you enjoyed this World Cup. Our WhatsApp number is on the screen and on our social media platforms. Now, after 16 years, Spain finally won the World Cup 2026. The last time they won was back in 2010, where it was hosted in South Africa. We saw that game against Argentina yesterday, of which the first 90 minutes, it was a draw. And Spain were really dominating that game because Argentina had 0 shots on target, of which is very disappointing. I remember before that game started, I even wrote on my social that it's a very unpredictable game. But we also saw this youngster, Luis de la Fuente, and his players, what they did yesterday. First things first, I know, Hernandez, I know you are rooting for Spain, of which you're very happy right now. Fred Arocho, did you expect Spain will beat Argentina? Because in this World Cup, Spain have only conceded 1 goal, meaning they have the best defense. Arocho?
Well, mine was I rooted for Argentina. I think Argentina also had a good run, other than the fact that people had issues about certain wins that they had. But by large, they played well. I saw Raya, one of the Arsenal players, very late in this tournament. I hope we'll discuss that as we delve deep into how the tournament was. But coming back to my prediction, I think Argentina did not really perform on the day, lacking a shot on goal in the first half. The entire first half for me was scary. I felt that they need to have done more because you could see a lot of the Spanish football being portrayed. I think they hit the net twice. I think 2 occasions were for offside, were marked offside. So generally you could see that Spain were really strong. But I don't want to take it away from how Argentina performed. From the very first match that they played, I think it's one of the teams that have gradually progressed in the tournament. Yes, they started on a low in the opening match, but they've really shown a lot of consistency moving into the next phase of the tournament. This is a tournament that has also confirmed the dominance of European football. I think this is the 5th occasion where European teams are winning the World Cup successively. So it is just confirming that kind of dominance that has been there in Europe. The Champions League was quite portrayed. I was looking at the individual players in this tournament that have participated in the Champions League vis-a-vis the other continental showcases, and you can see that football in Europe has really developed. And I think that's where we need to go as a continent. Yesterday, other than just watching the game, I was trying to compare and bring some contrasts in how we are handling our football in Africa. And I think it's some time for us as Africans to take stock of how these guys are performing vis-a-vis how the African football is being portrayed, and it's even being presented into the world. So for me, I was just trying to look into how we as a continent, or we as a country, can learn from what we saw yesterday night.
And as you saw that game, I believe, I've heard you say you watched that game, that you haven't slept tonight. What do you think really worked out for Spain? Because Messi, I think the first half, Messi touched the ball, I think
15th minute.
Yeah, you know, what really worked for Spain?
I've said I enjoyed the World Cup, but I certainly didn't enjoy the final because it was very one-sided. I did not see that coming, and I think this is why you know that Argentina really do not have wingers, because if they had, there was an overload at the center, so they wouldn't even break from the flanks. I think what worked for Spain is they played their own game. They did not at any point let Argentina. They did not at any point let Argentina get into their heads. If you look at the Spanish team, if you look at individual players, they might fail to convince you. But the way they play as a team, it's very impressive. I think yesterday you could see the likes of, if you look at Porro when he's playing for Spurs. Yeah, Porro is a liability when it comes to defending. But look at how he plays during Spain. When they're building up, Rodri drifts as the third centre back, giving Porro the freedom to go up front, and then Yamal can hold the wind, and then Porro can slot in somewhere. That's why I think he scored a goal, not yesterday though. That's why he has a lot of freedom. So if you look at the whole team, they are very cohesive. They play as a unit. Rodri there, man of the business, yo. And I think he actually deserved to win that golden ball. So I think what worked for Spain yesterday is they went with their gameplay, they went with their style, and they stick to it until the final whistle. Yeah.
Kalunda, did you watch that game?
Definitely
watched it. What was wrong with Argentina? Because honestly, it was so hard for them to reach the 18, the other half of Spain. It was so difficult for them. You know, even though they held down Spain the first 90 minutes of which they went for a draw. But what do you think was really wrong with Argentina?
Honestly, I wouldn't say they held down Spain, because also there was too many fouls to the build-up of the match that, to some extent, it slowed down the momentum of the game. That I think even when the first half of the game was a bit more energetic compared to the second half, because the first half Argentina were trying. They have their style of play, which I've come to notice, especially this World Cup. It just didn't work out. I think that's what they were going for, the first half, where they want to portray that style of play. But then the second half, when it didn't work out, they just came and started fouling. It became more of the fouls left, right, and center, which made it, it didn't bring out what they were trying to do. Mm-hmm. And then after that red card, you could see there was something that they were trying to do where Messi stands literally in the center of the circle, yeah, trying to get those fouls. But one thing I want to commend with the referee, other than every other thing that he did wrong, was the fact that he loved his career. He knows what he was doing. You know, he didn't want to end up like the referee of the finals for Morocco versus Senegal. Yeah. You know, you make a mistake and that's the end of your career. We don't want to see you in competitions anymore, because it's also you become a liability to us. And that is one thing I commend the referee for doing in that match. He loved his career more than, I don't know, whatever else was going on in the game. And he, in as much as some of the calls he was making was a bit, iffy like this, but the red card really changed the game, because that's the point where you see Spain woke up. Now, I think one thing Hernandez said that I love is that Spain didn't give in to what Argentina was trying to do throughout the game. You could see them coming for them hard, and they did not fall for those tricks. They played their game from the final whistle to the last whistle. The moment they scored, you could see the frustration on the Argentinians' faces to show how much it just didn't work out, honestly. I don't know, the coach tried to make some subs to, bring some energy to the game, but at the end of it, it just didn't work out.
Yash, what's your take on that game? Because we saw the previous third place match that had 10 goals. Yeah. And then on the finals, the game was... Actually, I thought that match would have ended 2-1. Mm-hmm. But again, just a 1-0 during the extra time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what I was saying, like the third place playoff is equivalent to, like, okay, I know you want us to say this, but PSG Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
It's PSG Bayern Munich, and then there's the other semi-final, which is now a bigger deal. And I think Spain were just at their element yesterday, to be honest. And they have been throughout the tournament. I think they have been, the fact that they have been so solid, cohesive, strong at the back. Then again, they're being led by De La Fuente. You know, De La Fuente is a serial winner. Yeah. I don't know if people know that. Even before he was appointed as the national team coach, he was winning with the under-19s. I think he won with them. He won with the under-21s. He was with them in Olympics 2020, where I think he came second. So he's been at those high levels as far as continental matches are concerned. And now, at a global event now, and he has showcased what he has to do. So Spain were impressive. I don't think it's surprising that they dominate the ball as much. Maybe it could be surprising because it was a final. Maybe people did not expect that. But they have shown us throughout the match, throughout the tournament, that once they get the ball, then good luck with that. You need a torch. Jana karibu nitafute torch ile kubwa wanipe Argentina wamulike waone ball because they want nothing. Yeah, they saw nothing.
I've been expecting that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just Spain. It's just who they are. When Spain come to the element, they are just unplayable. It's like how in 2010 they had a lot of the ball. Holland was solid defensively. They held them on, but eventually always crack.
Well, all right, I was expecting that from Nyash, but let's move on now. Let's talk about, I think, individual performance. Yesterday, this player, Pau Kubasi, did an amazing job. And of course, when we talk about individual performance, we cannot miss talking about Emiliano Martinez. He did a very good job. When Nico Williams came in, the game changed. Rodri at the midfield, he has been doing fantastic. It was so unfortunate for Messi yesterday, and somebody said that Argentina game ya jana kutoboa labda watoboe mapua, but again, it was so unfortunate for Messi. They said that pewe torch atafute hata ball. Arocho, let's talk about individual performance. Who was that player that really impressed you yesterday?
Well, I think the young player of the tournament was spot on. Why do I say so? Kubasi has been quite instrumental in that defense. When you look at the Spanish national team, I normally talk of something called the spine of the team. Their spine is that defense: Porro, Kubasi, Laporte, and Cucurella on the left. This is the team that held that success. And when you have a good defense, and look at the fact that I talked about Raya not playing this tournament, but for me, I'm trying just to look at the positives that come with the fact that Raya did not play. Another magnificent goalkeeper. So Spain had a formidable back five. You can trust any time that they're going to perform. Rui, Rodri in that midfield were also excellent. So for me, the player that I picked, and once again I'm going to reiterate the fact that the young player of the tournament for me stood out. He's still very young, and I'm seeing a very bright future in that team, because I think he has about another 15 or so years to play football. And we saw him at the topmost class of football in the world. And the way he stood his gun and playing all these games, it shows you confidence. Another thing that I also need to point out is the magnificent kind of leadership outside in the name of De La Fonte. Nyash talked about his performance in the team, in the youth team and all that. But for me, it is how the Spanish football is structured. Football, once again, is not an event. It's a process, and it's a process that will take you 10 or so years to win such a showcase. Because look at the under-19 when he was their coach. They won accolades. He moved to the under 21. He also won. So winning the World Cup might be might be the ultimate goal, but it shows that you have to have some structures. You have to aim. World Cup is not just won on the pitch on that particular day. It is something that the coach has won for the last 6 to 8 years. And the same thing happened in Germany when they won the World Cup after a very disappointing Euro at home. It is a project that took 12 years for the Germans. I think it's 2 or 6 when they won the World Cup. It's a project that took them 12 years. So once again, it should be a learning curve for us as a country, as a continent. You don't just wake up one early morning and expect to win the World Cup. No. It is something that is built through the youth systems, and once you perform well within the youth systems, the under 18, the under 19, 20, so it is just a transition. The moment the team transits well, and that's another point that we don't handle well, more so in Kenya, that transition of the young players moving into the senior team should be seamless, so that by the time they come of age, they come of age as players who have confidence, and they've gone through the ranks, and it's easy for them to get hold on to the pressure. So you could see that players, once again, I'm talking about Kubaso, you'll see that he had that confidence regardless of his very tender age, for lack of a better word.
Hernandez, to you, who is that player that made a difference actually in the final yesterday?
I'm also going to go with Kubasi. I mean, I usually say defense wins you titles. And I love the fact that football is evolving. There was a time people were just looking at attacking football. And now I feel like the defenders now are being involved. The goalkeepers are being involved. So Paul Kubasi stood out for me because that defense actually, it was a team that has conceded 7 goals versus a team that has conceded 1 goal. And their midfield was complementing the defense. Talk about Rodri, him winning the golden ball without having a goal and assist. Again, football is evolving. The stats, these are the players, the stats do not do them justice. And I think they cut out the Argentines' supplies completely. And I feel Rodri also deserves a shout because also Argentina, you talk about the style of play. I think when you lose your centre-back pairing, there's nothing more you can do, especially both players out and you had a style coming into this game. I don't think there's much you can do. So I think Kubasi stood out for me. Alamasia, I'm very happy, Alamasia product. At only 19, I can only imagine how, and he has already broken Maldini's record. I can only imagine where it goes from here because it only goes high. Yeah.
Kalunda.
For me, my player was Rodri. Considering the season he had before the World Cup, I don't think, because he was building after his injury, he was not all that fit, yeah. But he came into this competition, and I don't think people anticipated that he would be that good as he was during the whole World Cup. He proved something yesterday. He proved how, as Hernandez has said, that football is not just about attacking. You have to build around your midfield, you have to build around your defense, and that is what Rodri showed us yesterday and throughout the competition. He's held Spain in that midfield. The build-up has been so beautiful coming from him. He's been all over, he's been dropping down deep. He's been doing it all throughout the competition, and that's one thing I really commend him for. But also, again, I think I would want to commend Martinez. Just because.
Which Martinez?
No, the goalkeeper. Yes. He made some really good saves.
Yeah, sure.
Especially after Nico Williams came into the game. Easily, the game would have ended in the normal 90 minutes very, very easily. But he made really good saves that stopped Spain from getting the win early on. But for me, Rodri really stood out. I'm looking forward to this season, honestly, that is coming because I want to see what more will come from him, considering now that Pep has left and all that. How are they going to build with the leadership skills that he has? He's held that team to the core, and that is what has actually pushed Spain to actually win the World Cup. We might not see whatever goes on at the back of but what we see on the pitch also tells us so much about what is happening in the behind the scenes. You could see how he kept pushing his players. In as much as the goals weren't coming when they wanted them to come, he held that midfield. He held the entire team actually. And Rodri, he deserved to win the golden ball, honestly. He did so well.
Yeah, actually, he won the golden ball, and then the golden glove went to Unai Simon, having only bao moja.
Yeah.
And then best young player was Paul Kubasi, and the top scorer, Kylian Mbappe, after he scored a brace against England. Nyash. And please don't mention Arsenal players. Please. Please, Nyash. Don't talk about Saka when they are playing France, the third place playoff. Please, don't talk about Merino.
Okay.
Tafadhali. Who is that one player that made a difference?
For yesterday, I would say Martinez for me.
Emiliano or
goalkeeper,
Lisandro?
Emiliano Martinez did nothing. The other one, Lisandro. Emiliano Martinez, because like she mentioned, he was basically the difference. I do recall there was a time I was hearing the commentator saying that he has made I don't know how many saves, which is like a record in a final has been done so far. There's a time I do recall seeing like Spain had 16 shots and 11 on target, but they have 0 goals. While Argentina, we all know they had 0 shots. He was basically the difference between the two sides throughout. If he wanted to have taken that game to penalties, maybe it could have happened because he did hold on until the second half of the extra time. So I think for me, it was purely the difference between the two sides. It's him and Rodri, of course.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'd go with Paul Kubas. He really impressed me. He really, really impressed me. Now, let's talk about Argentina. Let's talk about Messi. Because I remember when this World Cup was starting, a lot of people said that it will be his last World Cup because when World Cup 2030 comes in, he'll be 43, of which I don't think if he can play. But again, let's talk about Messi's impact on the Argentinians because Argentinian, I think they had a comeback against Egypt, against England, his leadership there. But yesterday, unfortunately, I don't know what went wrong yesterday. Honestly, I just don't know. I think Spain were just too good. Yeah. Spain were just the better team. Arocho, so far, let's talk about Messi's impact because sometimes you see when the Argentinians get the ball and they don't have, when they look at Messi, he's like, pass it there, bring it there. And then we saw his assist. When he brings an assist, you just have to tap. You don't have to struggle to get a goal. Arocho, let's talk about Messi's impact on the Argentinian side.
Well, I think the coach, Scolani, should be commended. Before I even come back to Messi's performance, he should be commended because he's one of the coaches that took a risk. Having Messi off the pitch, a player of Messi's stature, you really know how to. You really have to know how to treat him, his ego and all that. Look at the fact that there's a match, I think, they played minus. I think the last match in the group stages without Messi. For me, it shows that they are ready to transit to move into the next phase of their game without Messi. And I like how humble Messi is. Ronaldo could have not let it go, playing the team playing minus him. But you could see the passion. The tears after that match, you could see how it meant to Messi. This final really meant a lot to him. Other than being his last final, if that will be the case, it meant a lot. After the match, I saw him. He was one of the most frustrated human beings after that match. And it can show you, it gives you a glimpse of his leadership skills. I think he was trying to feel like I've failed my country. This is the time that I ought to have come out and given my country a reason to smile. He performed his best because look at the number of goals he scored in this tournament. Look at his age. When you compare his age, the current players who are doing so well in terms of scoring, that is the Mbappes of this world, the age difference for me just describes the kind of player we are talking about. The world will miss him if he's not playing the next World Cup. We need also to give him a break. He's one of the players who performed so well in the World Cup, regardless of his the current team that he's playing, the current league that he's playing. Because for me, that is a league that cannot be compared with the top leagues in Europe. So when we are moving into the World Cup, I didn't expect a lot from Messi, going by his current league. For example, look at the likes of Mane at Senegal. This is not the Mane we saw when he was playing in the English Premier League. So the kind of league that you play will also dictate your pace, your tempo in the match. So his performance for me was good, and I believe that Argentina is ready. And once again, good job. The coach did not play him in the last match because they had already qualified. So I think the coach was also trying to see how are we going to transit once Messi is no longer in the picture. And something that really touched me, I think the coach, after the World Cup, after the match, he talked of a possible possibility of him leaving the team. He said that I think the contract is still on until December. Then once that is done, he'll be moving. So they'll be going through a major transition as a country. So it will be interesting for us to watch and see how that will pan out.
Hernandez, to you, let's talk about Messi's importance in the Argentinian team. His leadership, how he has been of importance. We've seen having 8 goals so far in this tournament.
I'm a little sad seeing him in tears. I mean, but I thank God I have been alive to watch him, because I don't ever think we'll ever get another player to grace the world that is going to play like Messi. We usually say Messi gives you hope. He gives you a reason to continue. Someone said, if you're in a match and you're losing, look around. Do you see Messi? Do you see, is there still time on the clock? Then you still stand a chance. I think he's one of the players who has the capability of making other players look better. He's one player that has the capability of masking your bad days, yeah, and making you look like you have brought your A game even if you have not. He pulled this team out of the trenches not once but twice. Actually, not even twice, thrice, because even versus Cape Verde, they were also in the trenches. And yeah, I think it doesn't get better than this. Like, what else can he do? And I think he hasn't really failed his country. If anything, the country is very proud to have him, because he brought the World Cup home, just like he had promised Maradona. And I think yesterday, this Argentine team are drifting away from Messi. I don't want to say Di Maria is, you cannot replace Di Maria, but there was a very huge difference. The 2022 team and this team, you could see something is missing. The outward, there's no one to swing those outward crosses, and that is where Di Maria was very crucial. And I think even Messi himself, he can confess that he actually misses Di Maria. But as a player, Messi is up there, and then it's him and then others. It's actually him and then others. Otherwise, Argentina, even Scaloni has done a great job building a team around Messi. I know it's not easy, and most of the players are outgoing, but they play very. They value the team, and they play very cohesively. Because yesterday I was like, why is Otamendi getting play time ahead of Senesi? It just shows you they value that experience, that Otamendi has been with this team longer than this player who is performing well right now. Maybe they think he still has a chance to play. He still has a chance to redeem himself in World Cups to come, because some players will not be there. Players like Messi, he'll be 43. I don't think. He can't play in the next World Cup. I think this is it. And I hope you've been entertained, have you?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Kalunda, how would you rate Messi performance in this tournament, actually?
For me, one thing I would always say about Messi is there's something you can never take away from him, is his talent. Messi is one of the most talented players who has graced us, in this generation that we are living in. And, we will always have the debate, the GOAT. But for me, I know my GOAT. But one thing I will always say about Messi is he will always stand out. It doesn't matter what game it is, what is happening, whether they are losing 2-0 down. He will always stand out, and that's what he's done throughout the competition. Be it the first game, be it the last game, though in the Spain game, he tried, but he's only one person, and I think that's the difference that Spain had when it came to the finals. Messi is only one person. He can only do as much as he can do. He has proven himself time and again. Messi doesn't matter how old he is. He's 39. You wouldn't expect a football player to be 39 and be moving the way Messi moves on the pitch. His agility, being able to pass through players, and get 8 goals, you know, out of a competition where so many youngsters are around. He has 8 goals. The only person with more goals than him is Mbappe, and it just gets to show you what kind of a player he is. And I think one thing I like what Arocho has mentioned is how, considering the league that he plays in, you wouldn't expect him to come and do what he does, but then that shows you the talent he has. Messi is so talented that he will always outshine you. That he will get the goal, he will be in the right position to find the ball wherever it comes from. You know, he might not be across, the ball might just land on him by mistake, but he will convert the goal and give the difference that you require. So going forward, I'm really looking forward to the next World Cup, if he won't be around, to see how Argentina will play without him, because he has brought the leadership in that team. And you know, you could see even how the players idolize him. It's not because he's, I don't know who, no, it's because of he's brought some sense of leadership to that team that has also carried them to this far that they are in. Messi will always be Messi. He will be people's god out there, but his talent will always speak for him.
Messi will always be Messi. Do you agree, Nyash?
Yeah, I mean, he's not my cup of tea, to be honest, but I cannot deny his talent. Well, I cannot deny his talent. He is talented. I think Argentina are so lucky to have him. I think we are so lucky to have to watch such a guy. And you have watched him since 2006 when he's kicking off to now when he's retiring and playing at that kind of level. We tutakasana before we see such a player. So sometimes, I'm not a big fan of his, I just have to sit back and just marvel at how talented he is and how he was killing it in his World Cup. And of course, holding Argentina all along. And I feel like his departure now gives way to guys like Nico Paz. But, I mean, Nico Paz is talented for sure, but he's not at Messi's level. So I do think Argentina might take a slump from this point in time, like we have seen with other teams that have won the World Cup, been at the highest of levels, and then they take a slump before they maybe come back. Only time will tell, but Messi is just sensational. I was happy that yesterday he got a taste of his own medicine, like what he used to do with... No, at Barcelona, that's what they used to do to people. Like in 2012, they're just toying around with people like you can't get the ball. Yeah. I was a victim. So
that was literally Barcelona playing.
I loved seeing him have a taste of his own. He knew what was happening. He can't get the ball. That's what they used to do with Pep Guardiola and Kina Xavi and Iniesta. So it's just sensational. He's a pure talent. I cannot see like how Argentina move on from here, because those are big shoes to fill. Yeah. I don't know who's going to fill those shoes.
Well, let's talk about the top scorer of the tournament, Kylian Mbappe, who has 10 goals with 4 assists or 3 assists, and he has a total of 21 World Cup goals. Kylian Mbappe is a very good player, actually. He's a very good player, of which we saw what he did against how France played the third playoffs against England, of which he scored a brace. Arocho, this young man here, Kylian Mbappe.
Well, before I get into Mbappe, I think it will be prudent for me to discuss Diego Armando Maradona. I think most of them didn't see Diego well. Perhaps they just heard of him. I think I was privileged to see Diego. I think I was quite young then. But when we say that Argentina will really miss Messi, then you ought to have seen Diego playing. Maradona was magnificent. Yes, he did not score many goals as Messi, but for guys, or some of us who had the privilege to see Diego, we felt that football will never be the same again without Diego Maradona. So I think players just come in with the time and they fit where it's necessary. Yes, Messi will be missed, but I think we'll still get another good player. Coming to your question, I think I saw the other side of Mbappe. I think Mbappe is also suffering from the fact that he grows hungry so fast. That for me, anger in the game. I think, I don't know, it was which match, the second or the third match, I saw him getting off his groove, whatever I know Mbappe to be. But good performance, getting all those goals, confirms that he's still also another very good player to watch. I think the French national team were victim of their own success. By the time they were playing the semis, I think there was a lot of confidence, overconfidence did them in. Their performance was so good until they lost the semis, and you could just see a team was quite disjointed. And I felt that Mbappe could have somehow assisted his team out of the quagmire that they were in that semis. Though once again, I think their success went ahead of them. And football and ego and success at times don't really mix. And I think that's what made sure that France did not play into the finals. But 22 goals from Mbappe, I think is now the all-time top scorer. Messi is 1 goal shy. But the fact that Mbappe can still manage to come for the World Cup gives him an advantage over the rest. And I expect him to perform even better in the upcoming World Cup, because he'll have been he'll be 4 years older, more mature to handle cases like what I talked about, his anger. He needs to manage as a good player, as a big player. At times, big players are judged by their big performance, and when you anger gets into you and takes over your game, then it will distract you. So I hope that even his coaches need to talk to him. He needs to know that I am the leader. Look at how Messi handled their defeat yesterday. Yes, it's painful, but you must handle it as a leader. So that is just a challenge I'm throwing to Mbappe, because I feel that he could have performed better. In any case, he managed his anger.
Hannah, there's also a take on Kylian Mbappe as the top scorer, as the captain of the France national team.
Brilliant. I don't even want to get into the team performance, but him himself, I have seen some growth. The 2022 Mbappe and the 2026 Mbappe are very different in terms of the way he plays, leadership. At the end of the day, I think pressure will always get to us one way or the other, but that doesn't take away what he has done. 22 goals already. I think we already knew the record is going to go with the structural plays and the matches being stretched. Right now we're at 50. How many games in the World Cup?
104.
How many teams? 50. And now they want to stretch it. Now they want to stretch it to 54. So advantage him, and I think he's gonna score more goals. It's gonna be disadvantage to those ones who played with less teams, but it still doesn't take away what Mbappe is. I think one thing they have in common with Messi is they are very unpredictable. You cannot predict what Mbappe is going to do with the ball once he has it on his foot. That unpredictable nature makes him even better. And we saw he can pass it. He's not that selfish, but he also has the capability of finishing from anywhere on the pitch. So I think I love that. I love that about him. He just needs to manage his frustrations one way or the other. I think come 2030, he will be 31. Right now he's 27. I think he'll be 31 in 2030. Again, he's getting out of his prime, and I hope he won't miss out on the Mbappe that we currently have. Yeah.
Well, the 54, I think, is still a proposal, and I hope Kenya will be one of the beneficiaries. Yes, so I feel it should go through.
No, hell no.
It should go through.
It shouldn't.
No.
Why? No, we can play football for 2 months.
Come on. It will drop like...
You people feel that we should not have?
No.
64, no.
It's going to be a stretch for the players, considering the leagues, and then the games will be too
commercially.
much.
And I think that's where FIFA differ with the likes of you guys. Football is commercial.
Yeah.
Do you know even the hydration break for me is a commercial break?
Yeah.
Yes, and basically these guys are just wanting to make more money out of the game. Me and you looking at the players, but even the players are not looking at their own selves. It is just about making money, because this is the World Cup that these nations have received the biggest amount of share from FIFA.
Yeah.
So believe you me, FIFA will approve that and will go for that.
And then the fact that they say that Infantino has support over 200 countries. Now, anyway, Kalunda,
Yeah.
your take on Kylian Mbappe, because I think we have 4 minutes each.
Mbappe is also one of those players who you just know for a fact that he will show himself, you know. I think this is a World Cup for the stars, to just come and show yourselves, and Mbappe did that very well. He was coming to this World Cup being, I think, the top scorer of La Liga and being the top scorer of the Champions League. Obviously, he was going to come and show that it was not by mistake that he has those accolades, and he just came to prove that I can still get more goals, and he did exactly that. And that you could see the brace that he scored from England. Yeah, it wasn't like, you know, he was just like, oh, trying to score. No, he was trying to prove something from those 2 goals, that he could still do it in despite the fact that they got knocked out from in the semis, that he wasn't going to the finals. He has proved himself throughout this competition. Obviously, his anger keeps getting the better of him time and again. But then again, he's human after all. You know, the frustration will always kick in. But Mbappe is Mbappe.
Yeah, you've got like a minute or 2.
Yeah, Mbappe is brilliant. I think he just has to win 1 more World Cup, and then he'll be the best French national player of all time, I think. I don't think there's any player from France who has won 2 World Cups. So he might just, I think at that one, I hope he keeps the killer instinct, but at that one you expect maybe now he's creating maybe a bit more. Because, I mean, he has a good team around him. The guys are still young. Kinadue, they are young. Bradley, Bacola. I think Saliba will still be in his prime and all those. So I think he still has another shot at the World Cup. Then he wins it most probably, or maybe, and then he has a chance of being the best French footballer of all time.
But also remember, Kylian Mbappe is the top scorer. Wow. But anyway, I think we'll be taking a very short commercial break. And when we come back, there's this player whom he has been talked a lot about. He was very fantastic, very brilliant. Michael Olise. We'll be taking a very short commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be discussing Michael Olise. This is Monday Blitz.
You don't have to go to the one.
For a lack of trying. So for the last time and the first time, welcome to Connection, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environment.
It's a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat. It's a chair. It was hers.
You're new here? Yes. You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure. It is a system. Ni venye tu ni system haisikizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
I remove it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mkorada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yaani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona kiki ni kama kiwaru.
Hiyo inaitwa commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Sintalipa kesho.
Kesho gani when?
Si kesho ya kesho ya tomorrow.
Hiyo time. Mzee ni budi nikamchoka.
Ni budi ni madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m.
You have to be very careful. Fake money can kill business.
Na leo mko rada yangu.
Small money, kapesa kadogo, big behavior.
I only have big notes.
Alikuwa anatafuta courage.
Yani nafaje kutengeneza kachumbari na manyanya zinakaa hivi? Ona, hii ni kama kiwaru.
Hiyo inaitwa commitment to the lie. Amejicommit.
Ndio hiyo. Mpatie.
Unajua kama una mtu kitu, hata tu salamu ya kawaida inakaa kama reminder.
Habari yako?
Sintalipa kesho.
Kesho gani when?
Si kesho ya kesho ya tomorrow.
Hiyo tena. Mzee inabidi nikamchoka.
Inabidi ni madeni.
Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV 47. Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning. You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza simu yako.
Hamna pesa. I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimeekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Ikikunyuma.
Oh my God. He left me. Nitumie ni live.
Uko nje kuna wifi.
Why? Hi-Fi?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea.
The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero make a beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like si ni brand already.
Me won't entertain divas. No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV 47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV 47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair. It was hers.
You know here?
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu ni system iskizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
Then you move it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not...
Welcome back to Monday Blitz on TV 47, every Monday from 8 to 10 a.m. I am Katela Macy and I am joined by Freda Rocho, Hernandez, Kalunda, and Nyash. And Nyash, actually, you're going to make me bring in cards here because sikuoni vizuri. And remember, you can be part of this discussion by talking to us on our WhatsApp number 0793-267-279, and of course our social media platform TV47 Kenya and TV47 Digital. And we have a question of the day: did you enjoy the FIFA World Cup 2026? Chapiane na sisi pale. Now, moving on, let's talk about this guy, the silent weapon, the silent secret of France, Michael Olise. He has been fantastic. I can't find the right words to discuss Michael Olise, but he has most assists in this World Cup. It's 7. And then he has been a very creative player. And I think he really deserves a a congratulations message, actually. Olise has been fantastic. And we saw the third playoffs whereby Ali, he came in the last few minutes and he actually changed that game. Arusha, what's your take on Michael Olise, generally individual performance on Team France?
Well, soccer is not by default. Soccer is by design. And Olise is is a true reflection of that statement. Do you know that Olise is one of the players that was born in the UK? Olise has played at Manchester United, he's played at Arsenal. He is a player who has even played for the French national team in the Olympics. So what am I saying in a nutshell? He didn't just wake up the other day and we are talking about him on this show. This is a player who has gone through the ranks, the Manchester United youth system, the Arsenal youth system, and then he started playing in the under-19 French national team. He's played 2 years ago in the Olympics. So basically, such players, for me, gives a lot of challenge to the third world, if you may still call us that. Because we tend to look at success as something that just happens.
Arusha Ntoka kidogo, there's a caller from Kayole. Halo.
Yes, hamjambo.
Hatujambo kabisa, uko mzima?
Mzima kabisa.
Did you enjoy the World Cup?
Mimi sasa naitwa Wawero Kamau, ni wakika net Kayole kwa DO.
Okay. Karibu sana Wawero.
Nimefurahia sana, tulikuwa watu wachache sana wenye walikuwa na support Spain. Na hata tulikuwa tuna support Spain. Na tukashangaa sana, sijui kama Arocho watatuelezea hao watu wa Spain walitoa watu weusi wapi. na Argentina wamepakana na Brazil, wakitafuta at least waadopte watoto wawili tu wa Kiafrika, tuwe tunashangilia.
Jamani.
Tumefurahia sana, na watu wa Messi tungetaka wakubali kwamba mtoto wa Messi ametoa Messi kwa kiti ya goal na wa GOAT, na sasa sio GOAT tena. Arocho anasemaje?
Arusha unasemaje? Walitoa watu weusi wapi?
Uhispania ina historia ya kuwa na weusi. Sio mara ya kwanza tumeona Wahispania weusi. Nadhani wako wengi sana kule Uhispania, sababu ni nchi ambayo pia kuna mtangamano mkubwa sana. Lakini Waweru, kongole. Mimi sikuwa na Wahispania, mimi nilikuwa na Argentina, nilipoteza na wewe ulipata ushindi. Kongole.
You were saying something tukiendelea about Michael Olise.
Yes, I was talking about Olise, Man City, Arsenal. So it's not by default. Unfortunately, players in this side of the world come as a result of default. A player plays in some youth, a semblance of a youth structure, then kidogo unamsikia akicheza for in a secondary school, then after some time in the national team, and then he's gone to Europe. When you compare these two products, that is the kind of player I've just described and the Olises of this world, you cannot compare, because Olise is one of the players that is some sort of a refinery. You're taken through that system, and by the time you're playing in the top leagues, you are ready for such pressure. And that's why we're even talking about him. I said that initially. We're talking about him because we saw his prowess on the pitch, irrespective of the fact that they did not perform well. Good job, very good assistant, and he's also still a relatively young player. And the future is quite bright. I say it once again, soccer is not by default. You have to design success. And this is a true description of success that is designed from where he started to where he's currently playing.
Hernandez, Olise is only 24 years old, meaning the next World Cup he'll be 28, and we've seen his brilliance on the pitch. What's your take on Michael Olise and his impact on the France national team?
Again, another player, another brilliant player that we've had. I remember in the last episode of Money Blitz, they were asking about a goal, and we said, Olise that really doesn't need a goal to prove himself. He has proven himself. The playmaking was exceptional. I mean, he has a vision. I don't know. He has a vision like no one else's. He'd spot a player you did not even see from afar. I think, and he reminds me. I think I am coming to learn why most of those coaches who thrive were mostly midfielders. Because of that vision. I think that's why most of the coaches that we have right now, back then, if there were players, there were midfielders, because he has a certain way of viewing the game from different angles and knowing what works right now or in this game and what wouldn't work. One thing about Olise is I think people miss out that he actually tracks back. Watch Olise losing possession, and he will run for that ball until he gets it or presses and the opponent misplaces the ball. He's very good at tracking back. He gives his the full backs he gives the full backs freedom, and I think I love that. Not many players will find that. A tracking back, yeah. I was gonna mention Rashford, and then I remember Nani changed him. So right now he's better. Yeah.
Seeing Nyash.
He knows I'm right. When Rashford was at United, he wasn't tracking back. He just loses the ball. He just stands there, and that's why we're playing players like Olise are very good. Apart from his playmaking and tracking back, I think he has the ability. He can play at different positions. He prefers starting on the right wing, but he can drift on 10 and give you the performance of his life. What Anani says, Arocha said about comparing players. If you look at Olise's career, I think he has gone to almost 3 academies, and then you pick a player from, let me say, Africa, and you're playing pure talent. You see, there's no way at no point you're going to compare those players and they give you the same outputs. Olise has gone to Man City, Arsenal, I think Chelsea also. Reading too. And I think, when your path is already cleared out, you can turn out like Olise. I think he has...
That is where I say we expect too much.
Yeah, we do.
Because the Readings, the Arsenal, the Chelsea of this world have invested in Olise. Yeah. Then you wake up from this part of the world and you expect to challenge. And I think that's where we also lost it as a continent in the World Cup. Because it reached a time that what counts is the count of the number of investments, the amount of investment that has been put behind your success. That's why you could see Africa conceding goals in the late moments of the game. And I talked about something I called football science. I'm also challenging us journalists to try and expound more on this, because we are not just going to expect our teams to play in the finals or even win the World Cup, yet we don't invest.
Yeah, it's just like Morocco. The success we are seeing with Morocco right now is investment that happened a couple of years ago, and it has been progressive, and they keep investing. Even though they are at that level right now, they don't stop. So
or even the French team. I think they have Clairefontaine Academy. I watched like a player before a player gets to a point to where Mbappe is right now. You spend almost 400,000 hours training in that academy, and if you get scouted early, well and better. But if you stay in that academy, 400,000 hours is a lot of time, and you're literally being crafted to who you're going to be. So I think it is an investment. You just don't wake up and have a good team or a good academy or a good footballing nation. So it takes time.
Before we continue to Kalunda, I think I'll be releasing Fred Arocho to go to Radio 47 for the Gumzo la Sporti, and then he'll join us later because there's a very hot topic right here of which I wanted him to really participate. So Arocho, wacha tukuachilie. You go to Radio 47. And to you, Kalunda, what's your take on Michael Olise?
Just like Hernandez said, last week we were here and we were talking about it. And you know, you want so much from a player, but then you're not giving him credit for what he's already done. everyone is saying, such a player we signed who came to Bayern for so much money, you want him to score goals. But then Olise has been putting in the work. 8 games, 7 assists. And then in the qualifiers, he played 5 games, he had 2 goals. He has proven himself. He doesn't have to score a goal. And you could see how beat he was after the England versus the France game, the semi-finals, when there's a chance he missed, and he went to the dressing room and he cried. And that just shows you the kind of player he is, to the fact that he gets 7 assists, but he's still looking for that 1 goal. And when he doesn't get it, he's so emotional to the extent that he's like, I feel like a failure because probably my goal would have been the change that my team needed. Michael Olise is the kind of players where you don't need him to do extraordinary, because who he is as a person, as a player, is enough for you as a coach to make the change that the game needs. And I think that's what France had throughout the tournament. Even the game against Senegal, they were losing the game 1-0. And then the change that, he made the cross that I think it brought, I don't know if it was the second goal or the third goal. And they changed the game completely. And that's the kind of player Michael Olise is. Exceptional is the best way to describe him throughout the competition.
Well, all right, Nyash, to you. First, were you impressed by Michael Olise?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I expected more. I'm kidding. Of course I was impressed.
Mr. Director, I really need cards here.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone who has ever recorded those number of assists in a single World Cup.
Yeah.
So those are 7. And you feel he's 24, he's coming back, he records maybe another 5 and he's the top assister of all time. And you reckon at 28, maybe you could give him another maybe World Cup in his twilight stages of his career. He's been absolutely fantastic. A lot of assists this season as well for club and country. I think 33 or 4 or something. He has had quite a lot. And then he was matching, I think, Messi's record a certain season. Was it 11-12 or 12-13 he had with the most assists in a single season? 30 plus. So he's definitely a creator. When you have him in a team, you definitely know he's going to create something for your striker. And those are the kind of things he was doing for Mbappe. So, I mean, when I was saying Mbappe might win another World Cup, he will need guys like Olise to be in the element. And he has gotten to himself to a level where now even teams like Madrid are daring to get him away from Bayern Munich. Considering the levels that he has hit with Bayern Munich, to even sell him would be like crazy of the club. But he's so good, he's demanding or he's creating attention to the level where Madrid thinks like, this is a guy for us, and they're willing to break the bank for him. So he's fantastic. Another guy who we can't see what he does this coming season for club. Asha to ensure, like, if there's another creator who's going to be there creating crazy numbers, it might just be him to look out for moving forward.
Well, this World Cup has been very surprising, and some of big teams were eliminated, of which people never thought. A team like Brazil, they had superstars, and they were eliminated by Norway. A team like Germany, eliminated by, it was Uruguay, Yeah. Actually, which team left the World Cup that was a shock to you, Hernandez? A big team, like, actually for me, for Brazil, I never saw that. I saw how Ronaldo Nazario was at the stands, and he was so disappointed when Brazil were beaten by Norway,
Yeah, for me it's Germany. I was really disappointed because Germany has always been Germany,
But at least Germany went to the penalties.
No.
And they never lose at penalties as well, so they lost this time.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, the performances they were recording, what was that really? And I feel like when you look at teams like Germany and the likes of Brazil, them being kicked out of the World Cup early, it takes you back to comparing teams like Spain and France. I think France and Spain are, if not the most complete football teams right now, because they have people who plays perfectly in their positions. They have people who can replace them. Who, if the first team goes out, there's a second team that can actually come in and play the same way. Because teams like Brazil do not have centre backs. I mean, what is happening? If you go to Argentina, they don't have wingers.
They have Gabriel Magalhaes.
And
oh, and Marquinhos.
Saliba plays a very good role when it comes to Gabriel.
Those two are juggernauts.
And when you talk about giant teams, don't forget to even mention Portugal.
Portugal do not have a coach. Yeah, I think we already established that. They have everything else. They just need to fire that coach because, that was trash.
He's gone.
That was trash. Wow. So I think Germany really disappointed me because how can you take out one player and then the whole of the team is mid? I mean, that doesn't make sense. So
yeah, for me, you mentioned something about Brazil having superstars, and I think that's what broke them. You compare them to the likes of France and Argentina. They also have superstars, yeah, but then there's a certain cohesion you need as a team, in as much as you have the superstars. You cannot just we've seen individual brilliance pushing teams. But the moment that's all that you have and not giving us anything else, then it becomes difficult for us to see you as a team working. And that is what failed with Brazil and Portugal, because they're the two teams that actually disappointed me. Especially, for me, it was Portugal the most, because you line up the team that they had and you see the players these are top players playing in the upmost leagues in the clubs in the different leagues, and they just didn't perform. Let me mention this: Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, you see,
and I think when you go into that direction, director.
No. Let me just. I need to mention it. I need to mention it because it also shows how. We expected too much from them and they didn't do what we expected. I'm a Manchester United fan, and I'll say it because this is what I want to see from a player that throughout the season I have been supporting. But again, he's only one player who will do what he needs to do. But we didn't see that throughout the season. I mean the competition. The likes of what's his name?
Actually, Bruno Fernandes and his midfield brothers.
Yes.
Actually, Portugal had the best midfielders
in the world
tournament.
Exactly. and they didn't do it. You want them to prove what they could do, having one of the best teams, not just football midfield, but they also had a very good attack. You remove, I would say it as a CR7, yeah? You remove CR7 from that squad, and I promise you, they would have reached the semi-finals.
Again,
Arocho said that thing.
Yes, you remove him from the squad, and they would have easily reached the semi-finals. But that's also the difference between Portugal and Argentina. Messi is as old as he is, 39, but he is talented as he is. He will get the goals and all that. But then again, Ronaldo is 40, 41. You want him to, you want to feed him the ball so that he can get the goals. But the cohesion of you see the teams are so different because of how, you can build around the players, Messi, Ronaldo, and then it brings the certain cohesion that the team needs. There's a certain level of unity that you need to carry your team to a certain level. That is why I'm just so disappointed, honestly. I'm very frustrated.
I don't think Portugal was beyond where they went. I mean, they met Spain. At October, Ronaldo and Gonzalo Ramos, they do not beat Spain. So they do not semi-finals. So they ended exactly where they were. So Ronaldo's whatever.
So which giant if you talk when it's not your time, me? I am well protected and I have the VAR and my decision is final. Yash, which giant team that was eliminated from the World Cup was a surprise to you?
I think not Brazil for me. I would say Germany. Because Germany, I feel like this time around they had like a blend of some experienced guys who have played the highest level for a number of years, and then they have some young dudes who are coming in. Kina Vitz is still a young guy, by the way, if people don't know about that. So, I mean, I feel like they had that blend. Nagelsmann, he seemed like a fresh coach. I was thinking like they might do better than that, and then getting knocked out by Paraguay. I mean, if they're getting knocked out by Spain, or teams that got to the semis or the finals, then you'd be like, okay, fine, you just met a big team and a better team, and that's just what it is. Paraguay, I mean, no disrespect to them, but you cannot be losing to Paraguay and taking you all the way to extra time. I think they should have done better. I think that for me was a shocking one.
But they usually say penalties haina mwenyewe.
Yeah, don't get to penalties. You are the better. You have better talent.
Yeah.
So just finish either in 90 or 120.
Let's talk about some giant killers. There are some certain teams that, and I feel so sad saying this, some of our African teams were leading, they were dominating the matches, but again, when it reaches the 85th minute, the 80th minute, then they let loose of everything. But let's talk about a team like Cape Verde, what they did. Cape Verde only drawn Spain. Cape Verde, actually, it was kidogo hivi, they were sending Argentina at home.
Yeah.
Which was that team, that underdog team that you felt was a giant killer? Would you talk about Paraguay?
Yeah.
Somehow?
Yeah.
Somehow?
But they slayed Germany, because that's all the big team they beat. After that, they went for a wrestling match, because they were wrestling with France.
Yeah.
I would say Cape Verde, debutants. And then I think for me, they actually, besides me, they are the other people who are happiest that Argentina has lost. Because in that game, I honestly
very dodgy.
Yeah, with better officiating, they just might edge past Argentina. They were really good for a team that had never been this stage before, then taking teams toe-to-toe with Argentina all the way to the extra time. The defending champions who went all the way to the final. I think they were really brilliant, and I can't wait to see them here in AFCON.
That giant killer team.
For me as well, it's Cabo Verde. I didn't see that coming, honestly. Coming from such a small country, they were good. They were good to their level where they could hold teams. Spain, the people that actually just won this World Cup, they drew to them. They drew to they drew all their group stage games. That also shows how much, you know, those underdog teams could end you. And it was this close for Argentina not to reach the finals, you know. As Nyasha said, you know, officiating is becoming, it is costing us to not to see such teams like Cabo Verde showcasing more than what they could do. And if certain decisions weren't made, we would have seen something totally different this entire World Cup.
And talking about Cabo Verde, I think they produced. They gave us the best goal, I think.
Yeah.
Apart from Vizinha, I think Lopez's goal was an absolute cracker. And I think, I was also entertained, but I will go with Norway. I think I had dark horses, but Norway were nowhere close to that. I had the likes of Turkey and the likes of who, but Norway, the performance was brilliant. I mean, they mastered what England had mastered, like in the previous tournaments. Like, get the ball, just pass it to Kane. Now, if you Norway, just get the ball, pass it to Haaland. He knows where the goal is, and he's gonna do the business for you. So I think Norway played really well, and they were killers because I did not see them going that far. So.
Well, in this tournament, I remember some time back, Arocho said we had some superstars who were flops in this tournament, and I won't mention which player he said. He'll say it by himself. Nyasha, I'll start off with you. Which player do you think was a flop actually in this tournament? Because a player that you expected, this one is fantastic, this one is brilliant, but again, when he got into the pitch in his country, it was just bad. Ilikuwa mbaya.
Wow, would I easily pick as the villain?
Wow.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm going again to my GOAT.
Say it like you mean it.
We need the same energy that you usually have.
Thank you.
I think he should have done Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo should have done better. I expected that, considering the team he was with, the talent around him and everything else. I forgot they don't have a coach. Should have remembered that when I was expecting him to do well. But also maybe I should have remembered that he plays in Saudi Pro League. Maybe I should have remembered that as well. But I think I expected a bit more from him. I didn't get that. How many goals did he score? Is it 3?
2.
2 goals.
And you're saying I'm back from where?
Yeah, I mean,
and the other one,
Uzbekistan. 8. Yeah, so I think for me, I kind of expected a bit more from Ronaldo, and I didn't get it this World Cup, regardless of whether he's 42. I mean, I don't know, but I expected more.
Kalunda.
No, I'll also say it because we're in the same boat, you know. Yeah, you just want your good.
Yeah, they say expectations work as zero.
You know, it's fine. It's honestly fine. It's okay. But I really expected, despite his age, I expected him to do a bit better. 2 goals, which came from what he scored against Uzbekistan and what was the other team? I don't remember the other team, but only 2 goals coming from him, you know, with a team that, with such a good team who could easily feed him the ball. He flopped.
Hernandez.
I'm not going to troll. I'm going with, it can be more than one person, right?
Yeah.
It can be, it is Bruno and his midfield brother.
I forgot about Bruno.
Wait. Hernandez, why are you talking about Bruno?
Because I have seen him carry a mid Manchester United squad, but I did not see any of that in that midfield, in that Portuguese midfield. Hold up.
I'm just briefing.
Okay. We could talk about the coach and him not fielding more direct players, but still, you cannot tell me you have high hitters like, is it Vitinha and Bruno, and then you come to the tournament and then you're like, come on, a division, championship.
Yeah.
No, it does not work like that. Even if the coach has failed you, do not fail the system. Even if the system has failed you, you try to go against the system. So I think Bruno, I am not even his fan, but I was very sad.
Now we just understand why.
No, I'm not even trolling, and I know so many people can actually agree with me. I was very disappointed because I've seen what Bruno can do, and this is not it.
Actually, let me scratch Ronaldo. Okay. Replace with Bruno.
Thank you.
And because of that, Nyash, you're talking without mic. Mr. Director, right now, Nyash, you're in my record. You have a yellow card.
You're walking on
eggshells. Before we go to the politics, Arocho, which that player was a flop in this tournament to you, briefly?
Well, was there any player that was a flop? Soccer being a team sport, it's not easy to. But we are normally very unfair as analysts because we will look at a player the way he performs in his club, then we expect him to do the same in the national team. There are several reasons that might not really make that happen. One is the kind of quality around him. You don't expect that the quality that is around him in his club might necessarily be the very quality that is with him in the national team. So when you lack that quality that you have in your club, when you lack it in the national team, we tend to describe you as a flop. But I'm normally very reluctant to use that word on a player because they're 2 different environments. I'll give you an example. We had in Africa, we had players like Tony Yeboah. Tony was quite excellent when he was playing in German with the national team. But when he came back to play in Ghana, you could see a different Tony Yeboah. Abedi Pele is also another very good example of players who don't really perform well in the two areas where you perform in your club and is expected that you reciprocate that in your national team. So I tend to keep off that because a player is a player. What you need to know is that there are different qualities around him at different times.
Well, moving on, let's talk about some of the dramas that were in this World Cup. Others were saying it was political. We also what happened to the Somalian referee. We also what happened to the Iranian photographer and what was happening to Iran players after a match. You just have to fly back to where you are, where Trump called Infantino to remove the red card of Bulagun. Now, do you think it was political? Is politics taking over football? Nyash?
I don't want to say it's taking over because that's a problem, but there was bits of it this World Cup that were ugly. Before I go to that one, I want to disagree with Arocho because I feel like Bruno and Ronaldo, they went from having lesser quality in the club.
It was an upgrade.
Exactly.
Hernandez.
Yeah.
In my record.
So
please go ahead.
Yes,
Nyash.
Mrs. Speaker. So I feel like the quality of the guys around them improved in the national team, unlike their club. So that's why we thought, okay, maybe you'll see better than you did in the club. But that's besides the point of politics interfering with the World Cup. Yes, we saw that. And this is exactly what people don't want to see. There was so much backlash about that happened with the Balogun thing, the treatment of the Somalian referee, the Iranian. And you are like, if you can get a call by the president about Balogun, that means you guys are close, right? So you could have called him about the Somali referee. Maybe you could have called him about the Iran mistreatment that they were getting. Just, especially the Somali referee, because I know the geopolitics involved between Iran and the USA, that's maybe something else altogether. But I feel like if you can get a call, then you can also call. Because he said he talks to these heads of states. And it's not like unexpected that the president of FIFA is talking to heads of state. It's expected he's going to talk to them. But this time around, we saw it, the interference of politics and rearing its ugly head, especially in that Balogun incidents. And everybody was so much against it, and it was so unfair. But it was so fair that when he came back, they got slapped. So I feel like the politics is getting into it. And I hope that's like as high as we'll go, because anything beyond that, then it's a whole different story.
What's your take on that, Kalund?
I remember, I think I mentioned it last week, that politics and football is not a good mix, but it will I don't think we've reached a point where it's becoming a bit hard for us to separate the two. And I think we've seen that throughout this World Cup. The first incident being the one for the Somali referee. But way before that, it was the Haiti jersey, where they had to change their jersey because it had a symbol that, to them, it seemed as a political statement. But then again, I think this decision was made before the game yesterday, where you're not allowed to have political flags, to the extent where even Iranian flags weren't allowed to be in the stadium during their games. But after the game, England versus Argentina, where the England versus where they had the flag, the banner, the folk, and then the decision was made yesterday, and I was watching it actually before the game, where they were allowed to have their flags if they won the game. Then it also gets to show, it just shows how much of inconsistency that there is in football. It's a lot coming towards politics, football. Why was, one thing that annoyed me yesterday was, why was Trump in the photo? Why was he standing there, giving Infantino had to run to the stage to get him out of the photo. What is that? Let's just have our moments in football and then leave the politics to you guys. But we've reached a stage where it's hard for us to separate the two.
We also that even the South African goalkeeper said, let's leave politics outside so that they can play football. Hernandez, do you think politics is overshadowing football?
It is, but I'm not shocked. It's USA, you guys. I am not shocked. They revolve around politics. So it was going to be hard to separate football and politics. But I think it's messing with the integrity of the game. Because if you have a president making a call about a red card, and then he goes ahead and releases a press conference talking about he doesn't even know what a red card means, he doesn't even know what it does, then the integrity of the game is, you start to question it. In the press conference rooms, you have even us journalists asking about politics, and the players are trying to tell you, can we just stick to the game, because we are being rushed out there, so can we have our moment in here? So I think it's messing with the quality of football, it is messing with the quality of tournaments, and it's also messing with the integrity of the beautiful game.
Well, before I come to you, Rocho, let's listen to President Trump and Gianni Infantino.
This has been a tournament like no other, filled with fierce competition, unforgettable moments, yet unforgettable moments. Like probably the most unforgettable is when they gave that gentleman, is it a red card? And I was forced to call Johnny and just make a recommendation. I said, Johnny, I'd like to make a recommendation. Let the guy in the game. No, I didn't say that. I said, I'd like to make a complaint. And actually, I had no idea what was going to happen, but it's so much better the way it worked out because there's no controversy. They won the game, and our team had all of its players. You made another great decision, if you think about it. I know you'll never get credit. You never get credit for that. Think of it if he didn't allow him, and they let it say, we would have won the game if we had our best players. So Johnny made yet another of his many good decisions. But the spirit and patriotism and the unity that's brought, I think, the whole world together. This is the largest World Cup in history by far, by many times, actually. Welcoming 16 additional teams, and I understand you may be making it even larger next time. I suggested that this has been so successful that And I'm really working these people hard because they really call the shot. They tell Johnny exactly what to do. I say, what we should do is you should choose the United States of America again. This time we'll leave Mexico and Canada out. But then what you do is which I was very nice to get them in, but what we do is you choose us, but you pick somebody else for the next one, and that will take some of the anger, hatred, and steam out of everyone. But Johnny also had another idea. He said we could do it China and the United States for next time. We do them China, United States, so you have a nice short flight in between games. The players would love that.
When we met the first time, Mr. President, in 2018 in the summer, after the award of the decision, I promised you we would make a great World Cup. And by all means, this World Cup has exceeded all expectations. Full stadiums, 7 million people in the stadium, tens of millions in the cities in America, in Canada, in Mexico, billions in front of their TV, everyone enjoying the game with happiness, with joy, with peace, and the American dream, Mr. President, came to reality. We united the world. We united the world in America. When I told you we will do a great World Cup, you told me America will welcome the world, and you did welcome the world. Everyone that came here enjoyed it. Everyone that stayed home enjoyed it as well by watching the incredible images of these beautiful host cities, of the fans from all over the world coming together and enjoying in peace, Mr. President, in happiness and in joy, because I don't know if you know, but the official definition of FIFA is FIFA is the official happiness provider to humanity since 120 years. So we are providing joy and happiness. Unless the team loses, of course.
That was USA President Trump and the FIFA President Infantino. Arocho, what's your take on that? One politics is overshadowing football, because we've seen such incidences that have been happening, all right? And then now they're proposing to have 64 teams to the World Cup from 48.
You know, moving into the US, the ministry or the department, it's called the Department of Homeland Security. They're the ones who handle your visa and your traveling, the way you're going to get into the US. Things there are done differently. I think we as Africans or we as Kenyans expect things, the way things happen here is what might happen in the US. Things happen differently in the US. When you have your visa from, for example, Nairobi, and I think Nyash will attest to this, when you arrive at the border, because the department of, that department handles border security and all that. When you arrive at that border point, for example, you're going to Atlanta, and you arrive at Atlanta International Airport, it's written quite conspicuously that the visa you're holding is not a guarantee of your entry into that country. So, you know, each and every country have their own rules and how they govern themselves. The US has very strict conditions. And when you arrive and see it written quite conspicuously that the visa you're holding that is not, it does not give you the guarantee to get into the US. So when you arrive there, the questions, the way you're going to answer to the questions that you ask, because there are several questions you're going to be asked, is what will make you get into the US. So when we discuss the Somali referee, at times I feel we are being unfair to the US because we don't know how he answered those questions. Josh, when you arrive to the US, they will ask you questions. Somehow, perhaps he was inconsistent with how he responded to questions in Nairobi, if he came for his visa in Nairobi, and what he was telling the officer who received him, because they don't know who you are. Yes, you have a letter from FIFA, but when they ask you, the initial questions are normally very important, and if there's some sort of inconsistency, that is the reason why they will deny you entry. And why was I saying that things are done differently there? Do you know that officer who is handling you has the authority over the president? He can deny you the access to that country. He is just saying that you're not coming in, and he'll give reasons why you're not coming in. Unlike what happens in this part of the world where perhaps the president can make a call and you're in. So at times we need to look at such. Well, coming back to your question, I think politics, how do you describe politics? Politics is the way of life, or is way of life. So politics and football is one and they are one thing. It's one thing. You can never separate politics from football, because when you say that politics is the way of life and football is part of life, then it's one and the same thing. Interference is normally very discouraged by FIFA, but I'm trying just to be on to wear Infantino's shoe when he was making these sentiments, or even when the American president exposed him, when he said that I called him and all that. But it happens even when we had Chan here. When Infantino was here, he talks to the president time and again. But I don't want to delve much into that. I feel that we should appreciate what happened. Initially I felt that USA could have not provided the best environment for the World Cup. I've been proven wrong, because we've seen many. I think it was in '94 when it was held there. Yeah. There were fewer fans in stadiums, but I think that the development of the game in the US has promoted the game, and we could see guys into the stadium. Once again, when you're going to the US, please, 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 you are on your own. When you arrive there, make sure that whatever you say is consistent with when you applied your visa. Okay. And that's the only reason that will give you entry.
Now let's come back at home. Our girls, Harambee Starlets, are very ready for WAFCON after a strike over the unpaid allowances and then their visit to the State House. I think their wages were settled, and they're having a very tough group, the WAFCON. Nyash, because I'm wishing all the best to our ladies. Although some say there are some key players that could have been of impact in that team, but as Arecho said, tusingilie mambo ya coach, let's wait for the results. What do you think about Harambee Starlets playing WAFCON and in that group? They're having Senegal, Morocco, Algeria. You know, yeah. It's a very tough group. But somebody say don't compare the male side and the female side, because we saw what the junior starlets did to South Africa. Yeah. You know? South Africa being a very good team so far here in Africa. What's your take on Harambee Starlets?
I mean, like I said earlier, I think this is their second time at the WAFCON. I know it's been a long time, I think 9 years or something, the last time they were there, 9 years ago. It's been a long time, but it's not their first time. So I know Morocco being the host, you expect a tough one. I think that's the opener, us and them. That would definitely tell us a lot about what to expect about the Starlets. I know there has been a few issues in their preparations where, you know, the allowances unpaid for, and even after going to State House the next day, they had to do kidogo protests to get that sorted out, even though that was eventually sorted out. I hope now they are totally settled. I hope they maybe now try to maybe get out of the groups. I know it's a tough one, but I mean, it's football, anything can happen. We have seen teams performing quite contrary to what we expected them to in the World Cup. And I'm sure that must have inspired a lot of other football talent, not just for the men, has to go for the women as well. So I expect maybe a better tournament, and I'm just waiting to see what the girls can do. I know they also know, like, the Starlets are doing quite well, qualified for the World Cup. That should serve kidogo pressure on them. Let's just have to wait and see. But yes, it's a tough group, but until you kick off, we can never really tell how bad they can be or how good they can.
For Morocco, no problem. Kenya is the only team that beat Morocco. Kalunda.
You said something that I want to push on is, let's not compare the men's and the ladies team, because in the group that we're in, none of the teams have won the WAFCON before. So, you know, I think that also is something for our girls to push on, that they're playing a group where, in as much as they're good, we will give them that, but also our girls are good. They didn't reach there by chance, because some of the teams that they beat throughout the qualifiers have been to the WAFCON before, and the fact that they made it just shows how prepared and maybe ready they are. We'll just wait and see what the squad will do. I feel like it's a good enough squad for them to do, maybe get out of the group stage and try and go as far as they can. So we're just wishing them all the best and just to see what they will do throughout the competition.
Hannah, what's your take on Harambee Starlets?
I think it's quite unfortunate that they had to wake up and take the roads and ask for what should be given to them without even having to ask. I mean, how did we get there as a country? Because the girls have put in the work, they have not failed you, but you're not holding your end of the bargain, and that's quite unfair. But okay, they did it, but they did it late. It's still, but yeah, now that they're already there, I think they got to Miramas quite safely, and I think, who is calling it the group of death? No one has won it in this group. I mean, yeah, they've had like dominant performances, but they haven't won it yet. And the same way, I don't think anyone in that group is expecting Kenya to perform. And I think we can, at this point, we take just about anything. We take a better performance than what we did in our debut. Because right now, even if it's a draw, even if it's a win, it's one win, one draw, and then we push maybe to the next stage, that will be still a win for us. But I'm very proud of the girls. I mean, I usually say the mastermind, the masterpiece is the coach, and the coach is usually right, even if we criticize him or her for the selection she has taken. But I want to believe that this far it has been that coach, and to the next stage it will still be her. So I want to have faith in the squad and also the coach, and I want to wish the girls the very best.
Richard, you've been a very big supporter of the Harambee Starlets.
Well, I'll be unfamous with this comment. I'm not expecting much from this team. I feel that we don't have our best. We've not traveled with our best. Time will tell. I feel that we have a lot of issues to settle as a country in terms of the ladies' game. I don't want to say much because I don't want to discourage them, but I feel that we don't have our best foot there. I'll be a bit critical with the government, the way they handled the Rising Starlets. I felt that when the Rising Starlets went to State House, they ought to have gotten something better than what they got. I feel that we're not really rewarding our ladies the way we need to reward them. If our national team qualified for the World Cup, the men's national team, just imagine the kind of attention, the kind of rewarding that we could have given the team. I feel the ladies are going to the World Cup, we ought to have done it better. The president ought to have given our team more incentives. I think they were just paid their allowances. I feel we're not really giving these ladies what they deserve. And on the senior team, as much as I feel that we're not going to perform much, I also feel that we're not giving them the best. Other than the allowances, what else have we given these ladies? Or promises that we've given them so that they move into Morocco with something. We did that for the men when they were playing Chan. We promised the team 1 million per win. I'm not expecting to give these ladies 1 million per win, but I was expecting some promise to these ladies, because these are ladies who are giving us. They are flying this flag higher than the men. Yet when it comes to rewarding or remunerating them, we tend to give men more prominence. I'm challenging the government let's do something more so to the team that is going to the World Cup. Let's give them promises. Let's make sure that the allowances are paid way early so that we settle their nerves. I feel we are not being fair to these ladies.
Nyash, do you agree about the rewarding? Because even the captain of the, I think it was the Junior Starlets, said the president to at least reward them the affordable housing.
Yeah, both of them, I think the two captains talked about rewards, and I don't feel like that's what we should be talking about when you get to the State House. These conversations of, oh, pay us this, pay us that, they should not be happening. They should be sorted out a long time ago. When the two were flagged off, promised something good for the World Cup they are qualified for, and that's it. Not things that should have been done months ago, they are still not done, and the captains have to speak about them in front of the president when there is a president of a federation that should have done that job. I don't feel like that's what we'll be talking about moving forward, but that's where we are.
Well, all right, that's it from the Monday Blitz. Papa Fred Arocho, thank you so much. The beautiful Hernandez and Kalunda, and Arsenal's finest, the champions.
Yes,
Nyash.
Thank you very much.
Every Monday we are here from 8 to 10 a.m. And have a good day today, and all the best to Harambee Starlets. I am Katila Macy. This is Monday Blitz. Good morning.